so excited. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. Hold on, I gotta connect my AirPods here. You are muted. You have to unmute. It's just like our default. Microphone should not be my AirPod.
Hold on here. I think I'm good. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Oh, look, it's so like bright and cheery where you are. I love it.
It's actually pouring rain outside.
Is it really? Oh, well,
Yeah, but
it's cloudy here.
yeah, well, I love your earrings.
Thank you. I bought these at a cute little shop in Elora when I went for my anniversary with my husband.
Don't you love Alora? It's such a
I
beautiful little
do.
town. I
I
know. I
love
know.
it. It's so cute. And the mill is amazing. Like it's so,
My
oh,
my father-in-law
top
and
notch.
stepmother got married in that mill
Really?
a long time
Wow.
ago.
Before it was
30,
what it is now, obviously.
35 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's changed a lot. I remember when I got married, I had my bridal shower in Elora because a friend of my mom's has a beautiful farmhouse there. And that was at that time, and that was 10 years ago now, they had all the signs up saying that it was under development and that the hotel was coming. So it took like a good, almost 10 years to get that hotel up and running, but it's top notch.
Good for you.
Okay, so I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. Are you
I'm so
excited? Are you
excited.
nervous?
I am. Oh my gosh. So I have a daughter who lives in New Jersey, and I said, I just have to do a quick test. I'm nervous. And she said to me, Mom, don't say you're nervous, say you're excited. She said, I learned that on a TED talk. Don't
That's
say you're
cute.
nervous, say you're excited. I said, okay, I'm excited. Yes, I'm so grateful that you asked me to be on this. It's so lovely. Thank you.
Thing. Well, I'm excited to have you. I mean, you've been
Yeah.
such a incredible, enthusiastic member of our community, and so I'm just excited for you to share like your experience and like your story is different, and every story that we get to hear from on the podcast just inspires somebody else, right? And so that's
Thank
what it's all
you.
about. I'm
Yeah.
really
So I'm
excited.
excited. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to pull up my questions. I've got
Yes,
questions for
ma'am. I may have to look
Um,
at some of my notes too. Is that
oh, no
okay?
worries. Absolutely. You know, this
I got
podcast,
them
we're
too.
super cash over here.
I got them too. Yeah, I know. That's what I love about you. I mean, we had our first, you called me because I was one of the first ones to register for POP. Can I call it POP? I know
Yeah,
everybody else
everyone
does.
does. I should just
There you
start calling
go.
it
I think
pop.
you need to change it. Anyways,
I know everyone calls it that. Well, that's it. It's done. We're calling it pop. It sticks more, anyways.
I was fortunate enough to get a one-on-one call with you, and that changed my life in a lot of ways. That changed my whole design business. Even after the pop was done, there were some tips that you gave me there, just one-on-one personally, that really made a difference.
Oh, wow. Which
Yeah.
tips? I'm so happy to hear that.
Yes. So, I moved to Ottawa about 4 years ago. So, I lived in Montreal. That's where I studied design, as a matter of fact. But I moved to Ottawa 4 years ago. But I was working in the fitness industry for 25 years. And I assumed I was going to continue in that industry until COVID hit. Guess what closed down?
Mm,
Gyms.
hmm. Yeah, it was like the first thing, right? Because everybody was saying that, oh, we caught COVID at this like whatever class and this gym is shut down. And
Yeah. So that was a big aha moment for me. But I believe in the universe, and I believe the universe was sending me a sign to follow my heart. And that's what I did. But the thing that you told me in that call, because I don't know a lot of the suppliers and so on here, was I said, I have an opportunity to work part time at a design center. And you said, go for it. That's where you're going to find your trades. You're going to learn about the different suppliers. That was such good advice. Thank you. Right?
goosebumps. I'm so happy. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay. So we're going to dive in. I want to hear more about all of this. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I'm just going to pause for a second, clap, and I'm going to have you sort of just give an introduction to everybody who's listening. You know how this goes. Just be like, hi, Patti. Just give a brief introduction because then we can dive in a little bit deeper. But just say who you are, how you found me, and like what stage of business are you in, if you're in it yet or not, right? So let's do that. And hold on, I'm just getting all my ducks in a row here. Okay. You ready? We got this.
All right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business.
Welcome. Why don't you share a little bit about yourself with everyone listening?
I am so thrilled to be here, Rebecca. I found you through Power Process, which was a life changer for me. So that was wonderful. I have a company called Peacock Blue Living with no E on the blue, because peacocks are one of my favorite animals and I love the color blue. And you can find me at peacockblueliving.ca. You can also find me on Facebook, and I work out of my home.
I love it. Okay. So I want to dive into all the things. I'm so excited to have you here, honestly. And we were just chatting for a moment there offline about just your whole story, which I think is so relatable to so many designers listening, because a lot of designers, as you know, and especially now being inside Power of Process and connecting with the community, a lot of designers come at this as a second or third career. Like, this is not your first career, right? You're not just fresh out of design school. So talk to me about what prompted you to start a business in a brand new city. You moved to a brand new city in your 60s.
I know. Well, very interesting, because I had a career in fitness. I worked for the YMCA for 25 years. I was director of health, fitness, and recreation in the Montreal YMCA. I have 3 kids, and my children all have moved. I've got 2 in the US and 1 still in Montreal, but I had my sister here in Ottawa. So I decided to move closer to my sister. We're very close, which was a great move. I love Ottawa. But I assumed I was going to finish my career in the fitness industry. I secured another job here in the fitness industry with a facility. Then COVID struck and the gyms closed. And we thought they were going to be closed for 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, then a month, and so on and so forth. So one of the things that I've always helped friends and family with was design and decor. So that was a passion and a path that I loved. I also studied interior design at Dawson College back in the 1980s, believe it or not, when we used to do all our renderings by hand.
Wow. That is a beautiful skill, I have to say. Like, that is, when I see designers who do renderings by hand, like, that is a talent.
So my daughter actually said to me, we were renovating her kitchen by Zoom, because she had hired a designer in New Jersey. And when the designer came with the floor plan, I said, can I just look at it? I'm quite confident when I'm doing floor plans. I love space planning. And we rejigged it. And she goes, Mom, can we just do this together? Like, do I have to have somebody? I said, sure. We did the whole thing by Zoom. It turned out great. Then I was referred by my daughter to some of her friends that, during COVID, a lot of people were doing stuff in their homes because you were stuck there.
Yeah.
And you realized what's working in my home, what's not working in my home. So she started referring me out, and I was doing this by Zoom, and going back and forth by email. And she said, Mom, this is something you've wanted to do your whole life. It's time for you to follow your passion. So
Aww,
I did.
That's so amazing to have your daughter just really like push you and support you to do your passion. Like, I love that. I love that. Just goes to show it doesn't matter what stage of life you're at or what your past background or career experience is, you can jump into running a design business and doing something new. And I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay. So why did you decide to join Power of Process? And when in your journey was that? At what juncture?
So during COVID, I took another course and hired a coach, a business coach. So that was very helpful. It was about 8 weeks. It was actually a Tony Robbins course. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Very expensive. Okay.
We all know who Tony is. It's not like a big secret.
Very expensive, but it was very helpful. The part that was missing was the process specifically around design and decor. That was missing. So it was a business course, which helped me with the business side of things. So I was looking for something. I fell into your designer meetup group because that's one of the Facebook pages that was suggested, and I started to follow it. As soon as you explained what Power of Process was about, I said, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. That's the missing puzzle piece that's going to take me to the next level.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I love that you did other business coaching, but you realized there was that missing link. And I think that's how a lot of designers end up joining us inside Power Process, because a lot of designers are very skilled. They're passionate. Maybe they went to design school, maybe they didn't. You've got an eye for design, like you said. You can do the floor plans, you can do the selections, you know what's going to work and make a space look good. But it's the business side, like, yes. No one teaches you how to run a design business. And there might be a course or two in school, but it is certainly not comprehensive enough to give you those sort of life lessons on what is the like reality of running a business, being boots on the ground, running interior design firm, handling clients, what comes first, what comes next, right? It's not enough to just be really good at design.
I agree. And most people that are good at design are artistic, and our brains, I've said this to people before, when you're an artistic person, your brain doesn't exactly work the same way as somebody who, let's say, is an engineer or an accountant. So that's really where I was lacking. And the specificity of your course was so precise, so easy to follow. I love the fact that you're right there in our Zoom calls, that we get to meet the community. Everybody shares. It was fantastic from start to finish.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I love that you hear that. You're going to love it even more because we actually are in the process of updating the course. We've added new lessons, new modules that we've never done before, which is even more specific.
I know.
Specificity. That is a hard word to say. Oh my goodness. About how do you run a presentation? How do you run a consultation? Like specific dedicated lessons. Because what we found are in those live sessions, and like, let's be clear, POP is, or POP. I'm going to start saying POP. All of our alumni call it POP. I call it POP. In POP, there's a lot of human connection, right? It's not just a course on a page, and you don't have to engage in the community if you don't want to. You can just watch the recorded lessons. But what I've learned is from doing those live study hall sessions in those live Zooms, the questions that kept coming up over and over again was like, can you tell me a little bit more about presentations? Can you tell me more about, what is trade day exactly? Like you mentioned it, what does that look like? So what we decided to do with Vera's help, we were like, let's just create some modules that go into real detailed specifics about these individual steps in our process. This way, you've got it as your reference. You can always come back to it. You can learn from it. So I think it's going to be even more robust. So I'm excited for our alumni like you to go through it again and tell us like, oh my God, it's so much better. Or, I think you did everything and then some, or maybe this is missing. So I'm excited about that. But I do love hearing you say that it was specific and that the live component was really helpful. I know that's something that's unique, but I'm curious about, with your own journey into interior design, how did finding POP, and finding me, that's going to take a while though to transition that one, help sort of empower you to grow your business? Because it sounds like, so you started off, you were doing Zoom consultations or Zoom calls. Were you charging money for those Zoom calls? No, of course not, because it's my daughter's friends. I can't possibly charge, right?
The biggest, and it's funny because my daughter's saying, Mom, you have to charge. The biggest thing, one of the biggest things I did learn was have the confidence with you, have the confidence to charge, and how to charge correctly. So many of us undersell ourselves. You over deliver. That's a huge asset of your course. Whatever you expect to get from your course, you and Vera over deliver. So right there, if somebody's on the fence thinking about it, it is worth its weight in gold. Yeah. So I
But
guess.
You started charging.
Oh yeah.
That's
Now
good.
I'm charging. Oh,
So
yeah.
how much are you charging?
Not for my children, though.
Of
Yeah,
course
so-
not.
I'm charging $350 for the initial consultation. So I follow the recipe. I do the discovery call. Then I book a consultation. And thank you for empowering us to see the red flags. That's super important in the discovery call because we can waste a lot of time. I used to make a quick phone call, go straight to the consultation. And a lot of times I would get there and it wouldn't be the client that I wanted to work with, or they didn't have the budget. So that was a big red flag.
I want to stop you right there and just talk about that for anyone listening who is like, yeah, that's what I do, like that. Like, I just kind of want to circle back because that was me, right? Like hearing you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, that was totally me. Like minimize my time on the phone, right? Like I would just have a quick call and then I was like, I didn't even really want to talk about my fees or my services because I wasn't ever in the right headspace. I wasn't sitting down. It wasn't scheduled. It was usually on the fly, or I'd call someone back when I had a free minute. And it was more about, okay, this is really great. Let's set up a consultation and I'll come to your house. And so I went to a consultation without really any information. So that I showed up thinking, okay, then I'll sort out what I'm going to say to them when I see them in person. But of course, I didn't really sort anything out. And then I'd see them in person, maybe charge, maybe not. And then it was like, oh, shoot, they totally can't afford me, or this is uncomfortable. How do I communicate to them that my services are like this, or I can't start right away? And it's more uncomfortable sometimes to have those conversations in person than on the phone. So I love that was immediately something you noticed the difference, that you changed.
And, I took a big gulp the first time I told somebody that was my fee for a consultation. And she said, that's good. When can we book it? No problem. And I thought, oh, okay.
I love
this
that.
is okay. This is okay.
It's always so much scarier in our head.
It's
so much scarier.
It is. So, and the worst thing they can say is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
What would you say? Are there any other mistakes, if you will, that you feel that you were doing before?
Yeah, absolutely. There were a lot of times when I did a consultation and they paid me, they would contact me by email or by phone again, or in their process of deciding what they were going to do, and ask my opinion. And I got to a point where I had to say, listen, I charge. So if you want me to spend time on the phone with you or to do some kind of a Zoom, there's a fee attached to that. Before I wouldn't. If I had a customer, I'd say, okay, you can give me a call or Zoom me and we'll figure it out. Now I don't do that anymore. I charge.
Good for you. Boundaries, holding your ground.
Boundaries,
You're confident.
Boundaries, baby.
Boundaries, baby. Excuse me. So what would you say was one thing that you learned from POP that changed the trajectory of your life and business?
Lesson one, when we had found our ideal client, you got your avatar, and you decided who you wanted to work with, not who wanted to work with you. That was super important to me because before I did that lesson, I was working with pretty much anybody. And I felt like I was grateful to get a client. Now
Yeah.
I look at who I'm speaking with, if they have the right budget, if they're in my avatar. So that was very helpful. One of the things I love that and I don't even remember if this was a lesson. We talked about it, I think, in one of the Zoom meetings, was how you time block. That was extremely valuable because I was all over the map. Like, I make videos, I would make, okay, I'm going to do 3 videos a week. I'm going to put them out there. And I love doing my little how-to videos. I think that's helpful to gain new clientele. But you taught me how to take blocks of time and separate those for different tasks. That was really helpful.
Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah. Thank you for that feedback. I'll have to look back and see, is that in a lesson or was that something I shared on a Zoom call?
I think you shared it on a Zoom call. I think you did.
So again, if you're listening and you're like, this POP thing with all these Zoom calls, like I'm learning from hearing our students and interviewing them for the podcast. I'm like, I'm teaching maybe I'm teaching too much or giving too much away, because I'm realizing, I'm also, this is the great thing though about the lives, is that you guys ask me a question and there's no question that's off limits. And if I can, I will screen share and share something from inside on my own computer. Like, I'm not, in some ways, I'm a little too open. I share everything, but I just know that it's going to help someone. So I love hearing that the time blocking was helpful for you. Can I just add, you mentioned videos, that Patti was such an active, you were such an active member inside our Facebook community, which I loved, because I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't have a lot of experience with social media and doing videos and all of that, right? No.
I was a tech dummy.
Dummy. I'm a tech novice.
Tech for Dummies book. I have the book. Yes, I was a novice. So I did actually start using tech when I took the course with Tony Robbins, because I am creating my own course, believe it or not, a 7-module course for new homeowners. It's not done yet. It will be eventually.
Yes, I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, so I had to learn tech. So it was being forced into it. And one thing I did realize is you have to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, or else you're never going to move ahead. Yeah.
And I would like to share here that you posted the most incredible video to motivate. And I don't remember what the words were, but I remember the video was of you skydiving.
Oh, yes, I was. It wasn't skydiving. I had a son
paragliding?
Paragliding in La Jolla. I did that for my 61st birthday. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh. I love that you were like, if I could do this at the age of 60,
anybody
you can do anything. And the whole Facebook group was like, what? You're amazing. Oh my, like, it stuck with me. I remember showing my husband. Yeah. I showed like my team at the office. I'm like, look at this POP student. She's amazing. Yeah, I loved that. So good. So tell me then. Okay, so you're doing a course. Let's talk about that. That is something that I am so excited to see. You're not the first student to go through POP that is like, I'm going to do a course. I realize I can teach a certain element of the population about this thing. So tell me about this course that you're working on, if you want to share. I don't know if you're comfortable sharing.
Absolutely.
For homeowners.
So basically, one thing I discovered going through life, and I've renovated 9 homes and sold them, so I'm not a rookie at that kind of thing, is a lot of people purchase their first house or home, or a home to renovate and sell, and it's the biggest purchase you're going to make in your life, most likely. They don't have a clue where to start. They don't have a clue how to choose colors. They don't have a clue how to choose contractors, different styles, decorating styles. So I decided that I would put something together, a 7-module course that would just give them a snippet of each different. One is on color, one is on materials, one is on choosing contractors, different types of flooring materials, all that, the pros and cons. So I felt like that would empower people to, when they purchase a home, to empower them to start on their own and hopefully lead them towards one of us.
I love it. I also love that you're in Ottawa because there's another POP alumni in Ottawa. Shirley. I have a call with her coming up. Actually, she's coming to Toronto and we're going to meet in person. I'm so excited. But you guys hopefully have connected, have you? Because she could totally, you get that course and she's going to get you on TV and you're going to be on the morning show and you're going to have the phones be ringing off the hook. I can't freaking wait for you. This is amazing.
Connected with her on Instagram. And one thing about Shirley is she answers you back right away if you comment on anything. So yeah, we're connected now on Instagram, which has been great. But one of these days I'm going to get brave and call her up and say, do you want to go for a coffee?
I'm going to mention you when I meet her for coffee next week. I'm going to say, guess who I just interviewed for the podcast? You guys need to meet in person. Honestly, I have to say, like, one of my favorite parts of this whole community that I'm building and the course that I've done is connecting people. I've realized that I just naturally gravitate to wanting to connect people. And it's so cool to see like all the POP alumni connecting afterwards. Like you meet maybe initially in a Facebook comment or a post or in a Zoom call, and then there's a connection of a DM. Or I was chatting with Yasit, who's in our designers room group, and she's in Denver, Colorado. And she was telling us in designers room this week that she's created a whole accountability group with other designers that she still hasn't met in person. And they have a WhatsApp group they all took POP. So they all like kind of get, like they're all at similar stages of understanding of what they need to do for their business. Like no one is sort of in the dark when it comes to running a business, but they all are able to send a WhatsApp or a text and say, hey, I just sent this proposal out. What do you think? Or this just happened with the contractor. And I just love hearing those stories I love that I was the person who was able to connect these incredible people so that they can go on to do even bigger and better things. Like that.
Oh my goodness. You did connect so many of us, and so many of us were at different stages of our journey. So that was really enlightening for me to see that I'm not the only beginner on there. We're all different age groups. We all have different family situations. That was great. That was great. Yeah. I loved Anna Ruth last podcast. She was amazing.
She's amazing, isn't she?
She was also amazing in the Facebook group and in the Zooms. So yeah.
So if you're listening and you're wondering which episode we're referring to, let me just pull it up on my phone here. I think Anna Ruth's episode was episode 165, I want to say, that just came out at the time of this recording. And also another episode that comes to mind for those listening, if you want to sort of dive deeper into this idea of it's never too late to change careers or work on your business, I did a great round table. It's episode number 50. So it's an early episode, but I did it with two POP members, Laura Thornton and Colleen Shire. And it's called It's Never Too Late to Work on Your Business. And it's a really great conversation that goes into sort of what we're talking about. Whereas whether you've been in the industry for 20 years or you're just starting out as a second or third career, like it's never too late. You can do it and you can find success. And so those are really great episodes. So if you guys are listening, go listen to those. Okay. So your goals going forward are what?
I'm going to take my family to Portugal.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Hey, rent a nice house on the beach. That was one of the things that we did in a Power of Process, was you had us write down our goals and objectives and where we saw ourselves. And I think it was, 5 years or 10 years. That really made me circle back to the reasons that I'm doing this. First of all, I have a love of anything pretty. I love art. I love clothing. I love design. I'm an oil painter. So I do a lot of oil painting, but it wasn't only about that. It was about, what do I want to achieve in my life? What kind of a lifestyle do I want? Do I want to work for a corporation, or do I want to have free time? Free time at this point in my life is super important to me. And you taught us how to schedule ourselves so that we can be the captains of our own ship that way. So, yeah, I think that I honestly feel like part of this is because I want to spend more time with my family and my grandkids and travel. Right now, it's a little hard to travel because I'm just starting out and I'm working part-time for the design center and getting my clientele together. But I see that in my future. There's going to be those type of things. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
super excited. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So what would you say made Power of Process different from the other programs out there? Like there's lots of programs that try to help interior designers. Obviously you took a program, Tony Robbins. Like what was it unique about Power of Process?
As I said before, you and Vera super over deliver. So that was almost surprising to me. You're extremely generous in sharing your information. You're very good at corralling people from all different parts of the world and all different walks of life and ages of life, corralling them to work together and to find solutions. The live weekly calls were unquestionably one of the best parts of the course, because you were always there to help us out. Vera was always there to help us out. I felt like it's a one-on-one course. I loved meeting everybody else. That was so cool. And I love the fact that everybody in that group were like-minded. We shared best practices, super important, because we know the rising tide rises all boats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were some of the things. And again, I can say the course is so specific and well laid out. You give us so much time that it guided me from being a little bit fearful to feeling empowered and confident. So that was amazing, really. And I'm coming back.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. Every time I interview a POP alumni, I'm like, shoot, Rebecca, you should have just left the course as is. I'm always trying to make things better. Like,
I'm so excited when I saw that on the designer meetups. I'm like, I'm back. I don't care. I've got to schedule my time off. Yeah. So you'll see me.
But you know what? Just to add, like what I see is very unique about the course. And I've been told by other people, like, why did you do that? You shouldn't have done that. Like, it's a missed opportunity for revenue. Is that the alumni get access to the future cohorts, the future sessions. And so actually, when I was explaining this to someone the other day, they're like, why did you do that? Like, you could charge them. I'm like, yeah, I know, but there's such an incredible community that it fosters, because you get the people coming back who've done it before. So they're a little bit further along, and then they share with the newbies, and it's this like constant giving back. And so, yeah, maybe it's not the best business model for me, but it is certainly the most supportive model for the designers that go through the program. And I love hearing that. I love when I see someone pop their face into a study hall and they're not from that session. They're from like 2 sessions ago or the last session, or someone just like, there's people who come back every single year. And I love it.
I might be one of those people.
Because there's always something to learn, even if you're just a fly on the wall.
Say. Yeah, and it might not be that you're learning it from the course content, but you're learning it from another designer. And it might be a small tidbit of information that's going to help you proceed with the job, or it's going to help you find what you need to find, whether it be a contractor or, somewhere to source materials. It's fabulous that way.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So what would you say to someone who's listening today who's still kind of on the fence about joining Power of Process?
Well, I would say that, first of all, I would encourage them for sure to join. I would say that it is going to, it's for me, it's like, when someone doesn't hire a designer but they'll hire a contractor, a licensed electrician, licensed contractor, but they're missing that designer. That designer is going to save you so much time and money. You're actually going to make money by hiring that designer. Yeah. That is what you gave to us. We bypassed all the time and research that we would have had to do on our own. And we sped up the process of bringing our design businesses into progress. Or if you had a design business that maybe wasn't doing the kind of business you wanted to, you gave us the empowerment to show us how to get to the next step. And that was invaluable.
I love that. I love that. I really, really feel strongly about this idea that you can learn from others who've been on the road ahead of you. And I actually just listened to a podcast. It's so interesting this morning where they were interviewing one of the founders or CEOs, I guess, of Hello Audio. It's this audio platform actually that I use for one of the bonuses inside Power of Process, which is the private podcast. So if you ever listen to the private podcast, that's the platform we use for it anyhow. And she said, and I actually have it written in my book from this morning. It's literally like I write quotes down when I listen to a podcast you can't see my book because I got a green screen, but you don't want to see the real room behind me. I'm in my son's Lego infested bedroom that he won't let me clean. But she said, we pay to shortcut our path to success.
That's
we
exactly
pay
what it was.
to shortcut our path to success. And I'd like to give her the credit. Her first name is Nora. I don't know her last name. But I was like, yes. And that's what online courses do. That's what communities do, because you are then propelling yourself forward so that you're not DIYing it. I love that analogy, Patti. It's like when the client decides they're going to do it themselves and hire the contractor and yada, yada, yada. And you're like rolling your eyes because you know that if they just hired you, it would be smoother, faster, better.
Exactly.
That's the same thing about signing up
for
Power of Process.
Same thing. Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, so good. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we've got a couple minutes left. I would love to hear a nugget of wisdom, because if you listen to the podcast and if you're not prepared, that's okay. We can come up with one. But I always love to ask our guests if they have a last nugget of wisdom to share with our audience today.
I did write it down, so I might have to.
Oh, good. You're so prepared. You're such an A+ student, Patti.
Well, I don't know. The mind doesn't work as well as it used to years ago. So one of the things I want to share that was shared with me, I don't know if you know who Trent Shelton is.
Yes,
He's a
I
motivational
do. I've listened to his podcast before.
Yeah. And he was part of the coaching that I took with Tony. So this is his words, not mine, or as close as I can remember. We're all wonderfully different and unique, and only you can visualize your passion and dreams. So don't expect other people around you to understand your process or the speed you're going at, but don't let that stop you from following your dreams.
Stop. That's good.
I thought it was good too. Can't take credit, but it's so true.
Well, the credit is to you for sharing that today.
Thank you.
I had not heard that, and it is so true. You have to trust in yourself and your dreams. Absolutely. Oh, so much like, I'm so excited. I love talking to you, Patti. I really do hope you join us this round. It's so nice to see your face.
I'm doing it.
Good. Yay. Amazing. I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled that you took the time today to join me on the podcast and share your experience, because I know that hearing your story is going to inspire somebody else who's maybe ready to take the plunge and leave their career and start a design business, or maybe they've already started, but they're feeling like, oh, maybe I started too late in the game, or, maybe I just can't figure it out. And I just think it's so hopeful to hear from designers who've done the course, and everyone takes something different out of it, which is so cool. But to hear your story, I think it's just been such an inspiration, and you are really such a light, Patti. Like you really do. You light up the room.
Well, all I can say to the people that are on the fence, like the Nike commercial, just do it.
You got some good quotes today, lady.
You might have to cut that out. I don't know if I'm allowed.
I have no idea. You credited them, so I think it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone's listening to my podcast monitoring for copyright infringement, but I don't think we're big enough yet. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much. And if anybody who's listening today would like to follow your journey or reach out to you and connect with you, where can they find you?
So I am on Facebook under Peacock Blue Living. I'm also have my own personal page on Facebook, which is mostly business. Once in a while, I'll put a family photo in there. My website is Peacock Blue with no E on it, peacockblueliving.ca. And I work at Silverbrook Design Center on Bank Street in Blossom Park. So if anybody wants to come by for help with picking flooring, paints, design, that's where you can find me. And a couple of other really great designers are working there too, who are
Awesome.
actually they're in the meetup group.
Amazing. Great. Bring
Yeah.
everybody in. Bring everybody
That's
in.
right. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Patti. Thank you, Patti. It's clearly been a long day of talking for me. And I'm going to see you inside POP.
You will. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Well, isn't Patti the best? Her energy is just contagious. She's so positive. She truly is a shining star, a light. And I'm excited to have Patti join us again inside Power of Process this fall. If you guys are curious to find out more about the course and the program, please go check it out on my website, rebeccahay.com/power of process. You can join us for the fall session. It's completely updated course, overhauled, new modules, new lessons, incredible live trainings, incredible live study hall sessions, Facebook group. There's even a private podcast so you can listen to the lessons while you're driving and on the go. And there's even bonus secret podcast episodes that I sneak in there. As Patti says, maybe I over-deliver. I probably need to start charging more for the course, but I did not raise the price because I know that right now in the world, there's uncertainty. And I want to get this course into the hands of as many design professionals as I can. So if you are an interior design firm owner and you know you've got the craft, you know you've got the eye and the skills, but you just want some help with the business, then Power of Process is for you. I hope to see you inside. And of course, as always, if you like this podcast, can you drop a quick 5-star review for me inside iTunes? Let me know specifically what you're loving. Are there any guests that stood out? It means a lot to hear because, let's be honest, podcasts are not interactive the way a lot of other platforms are. So I only know if you guys are enjoying this if you leave us a review. Okay, that's it. I'll see you soon.